Hi, and welcome back to my orchid life. I appreciate you coming over for a visit. If this is your first time here, welcome to the living room. It's where I grow the majority of my orchids. I live in Denver, Colorado, where it is not snowing yet, surprisingly. Normally we get snow by Halloween. It is, I think, like the 21st of November, the date of this recording, and it is a beautiful day outside. So today is Check the Plants for Water Day, especially my summer and novelty phals, because the majority of them are in moss. In a video I did, I think I did an update on a couple of them, I'm not sure, but I remember saying I wonder how they'll react in my environment during the winter time, because generally these guys are, you know, spring, summer phalaenopsis, because I don't really fluctuate too much in my temperature. Even in the wintertime when the heat is on, it's still pretty much around between 72 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Obviously the air that's coming out in the wintertime is hot air as opposed to the cool air with the air conditioning on, but as far as the temperature itself, it doesn't really fluctuate. So I'm wondering if that will affect their growth pattern during the winter season. We're going to look at all of them, kind of see what they're doing right now, and then we'll look at them again at the beginning of spring, just to kind of see if they slow down, if they continue to grow, if they increase their growth because it's warmer in here as opposed to in the summer when it's cooler in here. Be kind of interesting to see, I thought. And if you have any ideas, leave it in the comments down below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead. I'd appreciate that. It doesn't cost you anything, just helps me out a little bit. But I forgot one. 1 second here. And just grab her out of the pot real quick. So this one here, let's just start with her. This is the phalaenopsis cornu-cervi chattel a day variation, and she has recently started her leaf growth here, and I noticed that I can now see a new root growing. Oh, can you see it? Yeah, you can. A new root growing right here, and she does not need water. I know the moss might look a little dry, but it's still, if you look right here, you can still see the moisture. So I'm not going to water her today. And let me just put her back because she is kind of big, but she sits on the bottom of the grow shelf under a Barina light. So she's getting plenty of light down there. And then let's just talk about the Deliciosa variation, Hookeriana. Again, we have this cutesy little bloom. Let's see if I can get in a little bit closer for you so you can see it. Isn't that the cutest? Is she so pretty? And she has another bud that she's working on. And then she has a bud on her other spike right here. And this bud will open once this bloom drops. That seems to be her blooming pattern. She'll bloom on one, drop it, bloom on the other, drop it, bloom, back and forth. She's not doing any vegetative growth at the moment, but I am thinking of maybe cutting one of the spikes to see if maybe that'll kick her into some vegetative growth. But she does have another new little root growing down in there. And I was worried about her touching the shelf with her flowers. So what I did is I got one of these terracotta stands. I think you're supposed to like stand them like that, put a terracotta pot on it. But I just put her on the shelf and I set her like that so that she's up a little bit higher. And she does not need water. As you can see, the roots are still nice and green. And this moss is still moist, and you can see the condensation a little bit on the side. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's what that is. And she does have new root growing here and a new root growing there. So she's doing root production. She's not doing any vegetative production. Leave it in the comments below if you feel like I should cut one of the spikes to maybe encourage some leaf growth, or since she is producing roots and these leaves are not drying out or being absorbed, should just leave her and let her do her thing. All right, and she sits in front of the chattel a day here under the Barina lights as well on the bottom where it's a little bit cooler. From what I've researched, they do prefer it a little bit cooler and not so warm. Let's talk about Philipinensis here. So Philipinensis is in bark and moss, and I did water her yesterday, but I brought her out because she is part of my novelty phals. If you look, she's got roots growing out of the pot now, and she's got some new roots that she's starting there. She's finishing this leaf right here, and it doesn't look like it's going to get nice and fat like this one. I think it's just going to be long and skinny, but this is the one that she was working on when I first got her, and I got her back in August. She's doing well, and she sits in the room with my phalaenopsis that I am doing the cool down experiment on. Let's look at my Bellina Carula. She is working on this root here, and I trained this root to go down into the media because it was trying to be aerial, but as you can see, she is not doing rather well. I mean, she's not, I don't know, she just looks stressed to me, but there's that root there, and I don't see any other roots in there. She has a few more growing right in there, if you can kind of see those. And the leaves are hard, so I guess I'll just let her be. But I put her in the back where she's not under the strongest part of the light. She's just kind of getting more dappled light back in the back to try to not stress her so much. And then let's talk about the two Bellinas. So one Bellina has been recently repotted because she was doing new root production, and she is in a moss and bark mixture, and there's the root there. She's got lots of roots in there. She's not working on any more leaves, but these leaves that she does have are very firm, and this one here is still tender, so I'm assuming that she is still working on this one. Other than that, there's not much going on with her, other than that couple of roots that she was growing that are in the media themselves. I don't see any new roots on her. And then we have this Bellina that, again, is finishing this leaf here, and it's starting to harden off, so I think she's done growing this one. So I expect another one to start here shortly. She has a new root popping out right in there, and once it gets a little bit longer and starts absorbing some water, I will be repotting her as well, because she is still in her original little pot, and she's got lots of growth tips in here. Also, in one video I was talking about the light and worrying about the light, but if you look at both of them, they kind of have the same lighting. This one grows under the grow shelf, and then this one hangs on a hanging pot up against the wall. This one has a little more of an apple green to it, whereas this one is more of a muted green, but there's not that much of a difference. And this one was hanging on the wall and was this color, and this one was under the grow light and was this color. I'll post a picture because I took a picture of them just to see what the color difference was going to be. And again, the Bellina that grows under the grow light grows kind of more in the back where she's close to the light, but she's not right up underneath it. And my Speciosa Red. I've had this one since August of 2021, and she has roots that we can now see here. I've recently potted her up into a bigger pot to keep her in. This leaf here is her latest leaf growth. So when I got her, she had these three right here, and then this leaf was just beginning. So she's finished this leaf since August and is producing this one. It's a little harder, but it's still soft. So maybe she's not done growing it quite yet. And again, she hangs on a hanging basket on the wall as well. Let's talk about the Hieroglyphica. I recently watched Nicole Deanna's Hauserman update, and her Hieroglyphica is gorgeous. Oh, it's gorgeous. And she posted the blooms. Oh, I can't wait. But as you can see, she is doing lots and lots of root growth. They're coming all out of the pot. She's got roots going down in the pot. She is also now starting a new leaf, and I'm hoping that they relax a little bit. I mean, she just stands so straight. But again, she does also live under the grow light. And let's do this one because she goes in the back. So this is my Summer Rose Blue Star that recently again has been repotted because she did have some new root growth going into the pot. You can see some of her other roots that she had already. She had a really good root system actually, and she's finished this leaf here, and if you look really closely you can see that she's starting on another one, and she's got a root that is trying to poke through the leaf there. But I can't wait to see her in bloom because with the name Blue Star, I'm assuming she's going to be a Carula type. And from what Todd at Todd's Tropical was saying about his, he said he gave his away because it just was such a bloomer. Let's talk about Siddiriana. There we go, Siddiriana. Look at this leaf. I mean, oh my goodness, look how fat and juicy that is. It's just gorgeous. And I absolutely love the dark green with the hints of burgundy on there. And she is starting to absorb this leaf, but she's been absorbing this leaf since I got her. Again, I got her in August as well. But she's got this lovely root that's poking out there. She's got all kinds of root growth going in the pot. And she is just exploding with roots right there at the base. And I can see another root trying to pop out right there, waiting to see her in bloom. And I'm putting them back as I talk about them, guys, just because, like I said, there's a bunch of them and I don't want to mess any of them up. Let's talk about the phalaenopsis. Which one is this? Is this the Violacea crossback to sibling? Again, when I got her back in January of 2021, and she had 3 leaves right here, and then she grew this one, which was very small. Then she grew this one. I repotted her, and then she grew this one. Now she's working on another one, and she has lots of roots in her pot as well. And she sits pretty much not right under the light, but really close to it. So this one is the Yin's Black Eagle, exploding with root growth. I mean, she's coming out of the pot even. And she has roots growing here. And look at this latest leaf, how fat it is. It's just gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. Be interesting to see if any of them that aren't already spiking come into spike at some point. And she sits kind of under the light because I'm trying to train that leaf so it doesn't go straight. And then we have the Yaupon Evergreen here with her double spikes that she came with. She's got new roots growing there. She's got a new root going down that's trying to extend. But she has these 2 spikes here, like I said, she came with. She came in bloom. And it looks like we are going to get a flower on this one and a flower on the bottom one. She's working on that, as well as working on a new leaf that is nice and round and hopefully will come out like this one. As you can see, the last one she did before is kind of a little more elongated, and that's a sign of stress, probably from the traveling from her perfect environment in the greenhouse to my environment at home. Let's talk about the Siddiriana, or the Siddiria, not Siddiriana. Now reclassed as a phalaenopsis japonica. And I don't see any roots on the outside. I lied. There's one right there. Do you see it? Right there. But originally I had her in just all moss, not all moss, all bark when I first got her. These leaves, these 4 right here that she came with, just kept drooping, and I was having to water her every day, and it still wasn't enough. So I switched it into a bark moss mix, and since then she's maintained the stiffness of her leaves. She recently finished this leaf here, and if we look really close, you can see she's starting on a new leaf in there. I don't see any new roots coming off of her as of yet. I want to try to make sure that I don't lose this one, because as I said before, it's one I've wanted for a while, and now that my son is stationed in Okinawa, it kind of has an extra meaning. Let's talk about Miss Schaleriana. So about a month ago, I did a video after watching one of Nina's videos on her Schaleriana and how once it started root growth or leaf growth, then another leaf would drop. And I was expecting a leaf to drop. However, look at this. This leaf right here, guys, and I'll post a picture and post the video. It was literally, it was curled up and looked like it was just drying out. We now have that root going down in there. We have a new root on that side that's already down in the media. And I have one here that will probably end up being an aerial root. Did is for about a week, I gave her high CalMag, about 150 parts per million of CalMag. And since then, all I've done is I've flushed her every day. So every day she gets a flush. And I don't know if that is what helped this leaf kind of open itself back up and then this leaf continue to grow, But I am going to continue doing that throughout the winter, and then I will start fertilizing her probably in about a week or so, very mildly initially, just to make sure. I also took her out of the brighter light to reduce the stress, and she sits on a little table that is right next to the Barina lights that also has a grow light on it, but it's pretty dappled for her. I want to talk about the mini mark. Oh my goodness. Look at those blooms, guys. That burnt orange lip with that dotting, and then look at that with the spots on the sepals and the petals. Is she not just beautiful? She's not fragrant, but look at that. Just beautiful. And this is the first bloom that opened, and look how fresh it still looks. It's been open, I would say probably about a month and a half, but look at that. And then she's got another one here, and it looks like she's going to extend her spike for me. But she's just gorgeous, just gorgeous. And she's got this little root peeking out here, and she's got these roots right in here. Just absolutely beautiful. Again, I saw this one on Miss Orchid Girl a few years ago, and apparently it's pretty readily available in her region, or I don't know if she bought it in Romania or in Cyprus, but I had a hard time finding this thing. And she's the reason that I did the one Brookside orchid where I got more orchids than I thought I had. Anywho. And then we have the Phalaenopsis Sogo Vivian that I got from Nicoliana. That is in a bark moss mix. I don't see any roots on the outside. Oh, I do see a little one kind of peeking in right there. Do you see that little green spot? That's a little root peeking out. And she is working on a new leaf, but more excitingly, we are going to have blooms shortly. Look at those buds. So right now I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, I don't know. Even if it's just one, I am excited. So excited about that one. And she lives right here. Then let's talk about this Phalaenopsis lady here with the difficult name, Inscriptionesensis. I'm sure I probably just chopped that up, but that's what this one is. She also has 2 spikes that she came with. That is working on a bud here, and she's working on a bud here, as well as she's got a few aerial roots, and then this one here is, this one here is starting to branch for me. She's working on a new leaf, and these are just absolutely stunning. And this here is starting to get absorbed, and she came with these spots here, so that's not something that happened here. And she does have quite a few new roots going down into the pot. These little skinny ones are the ones that she came with, and then the newer ones, the thicker ones, are the ones that she's developed since I've had her. So I'm assuming she's pretty happy with that set up. And I did put her in a taller mask, just because if you look, see how that algae was starting to build, because that's how high the original mask went. So since I put her in here, that has decreased. And I might take some tweezers and just take out the moss that has the algae in it and replace it with the good stuff. Haven't decided yet. However, this one here, my Tangshan Fly Eagle. So look at her new leaf growth. Oh my goodness. And this is the one when I got it, this leaf was broken, and initially I had taped it trying to save it, but then I just decided to go ahead and take it off, and it's not affected her at all other than aesthetically. She is absorbing this leaf here, and she does have roots in her pot as well. Again, there's one of the roots that she came with, and then the one right above it is a little bit thicker than the one that she came with. She has roots exploding from the base, but do you see my little spike coming up here? I am so excited about that. I was not expecting that. I actually noticed that when I was pulling her out to water her today. And the way I water them is I just get a, oh, it's right here. Let me just show you real quick. So I just get a little plastic container like this. I put about that much water in it, and then I take them, I just set them in there, and I let the water absorb about halfway up, and then I put them back in their mask pot, and then I just let the moss absorb the rest of it. And right now I am watering them probably about every 4 days. They're drying out. Some of them are every 7 days, but on average the majority of them are every 4 days. All right, well, that is all of the summer novelty phals. So let me know if you have any predictions on any of these girls. If you have any of them, you want to do a care collab, let me know in the comments down below or in my email. It is in the description. I hope everyone has a safe and wonderful day. And for those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you got your turkey and you got your menu set up. Or if you're going to a family's house, you have a great time. And with that, guys, I'll see you on the next one.